There we go. Let's finish this off with a few of the comments along the way. I apologize that you guys are all so awesome. Oh, before I get going, because we got people in here, I appreciate people coming to these streams. I really appreciate doing that. I'm able to knock out a lot of videos all at once, because normally what I'll do is I'll download the stream as soon as it's up, and then I'll cut those into clips and I'll upload those up the other days as singles videos. That I couldn't do it without you guys. Make sure if you are on Twitter to tweet me so I can know really who you guys are, because you guys don't always have the same YouTube names as Twitter names. And if you tweet whatever, I want to make sure that I follow you. That's the easiest way that I can pay you guys back, because I appreciate you guys big time. Let's see. I'm going back. I got a bunch of comments this time. I appreciate you guys a lot. Okay, we go back to when we were talking about Beast in the East 2015. Pat's Nation put the question of the day up. Are you going to WrestleMania in Las Vegas next year and WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia in 2027? We'll start off by saying this. I will tell you the honest truth is that if I found a way to weasel my way into being, now I don't think I am this. There was a point when I thought I was close in 2012 that I was an influencer, I guess you can say, for WWE, when a lot more people watched my videos. I thought at one point when the network launched that I should like find a way to ask if the network would like to take my group of friends that made wrestling videos and if they wanted to make a show out of it. If I would have found a way to ask, I think that would have been awesome. But I did ask my friends if they wanted to go to Saudi Arabia. We had a good laugh. Nobody picked up. But WrestleMania Las Vegas. We had a talk about WrestleMania New Orleans, and it was a good one. And then all of a sudden it was canceled and it became Las Vegas. And I think that we had dreams of still doing the trip, but the one thing that scared us away last year is that, like, you have to remember that when I became friends with Ravi, when I became friends with Miguel, I was 10 years older than them. I'm still 10 years older than them. So what I was going through then, they're going with now. Ravi just got married. Miguel is he pretty much is married. Miguel's got kids. I think that Ravi wants to start his family sooner than later. I don't want to put words into his mouth, but like, it costs a lot of money to go to WrestleMania. It costs a lot to go then. It costs a lot more to go now. And I just don't think it's on the table. I would love to go on a wrestling trip. The fact that if you watched Ravi, Assault and Battery 777, his video with Justin and Mike going to All Out in Toronto this last weekend, I have never been more jealous in a long time of people going to a wrestling show that I wish that I would have been there, especially the fact that like even Griff got to go back and they watched WrestlePalooza. I think that might have been my favorite thing of the entire night, was just being in, I think it was Justin's apartment and watching the show. But no, Las Vegas 41. I went on a limb. I went by myself. I went to the wrestle, who's gonna call it, wrestle reunion? What the heck was that thing called? The High Spots deal. The convention. I went. I met everybody. When I was in Vegas, I did everything Vegas that I wanted to do. Besides, I didn't go out and go to the farther off casino at the northern end of the strip, past the Stratosphere, like Old Vegas, people call it. I can't remember what it's actually called, but I didn't go there. I'll go there someday. But I went to the chapel where Triple H and Stephanie got married on Raw. I went to the pool. I saw where WrestleMania 9 was. I went and did the Pinball Museum. I did the Vegas sign. I saw where Evil Knievel jumped the Caesars pool at their entrance with his motorcycle. I did just about everything that I wanted to do. I made videos on just about everything that I wanted to do. Vegas just doesn't have me. I would love to go to WrestleMania again. I don't know what city is going to grab my attention, but it's going to be something that has things other than WrestleMania for me to want to go to, because there's always going to be wrestlers at the convention that I haven't met yet, that I haven't got a picture with, but I knocked a huge bulk of people off of there. So no 42 for me, no 43 for me. What's up, JPEG? Pat's Nation. I'm not going to be watching NXT tonight. I wanted to watch last week and I almost watched, if that counts for you. I don't have any updates on Piper because I honestly don't know what happened to her. Oh, and this one right here, JPEG, pretty much one of my favorite comments of the night, because I've watched not one, but two videos on the Hollywood Horror Nights where they've done the Wyatt Six house. Very cool. I don't know, if I was WWE, I wouldn't even have asked for $1 to give up my rights. I just would have said, like, hey, is it cool if like we sell some merch or something like that and we can make money that way? Just the fact that they have a house inside of Horror Nights. Like, I'm not the biggest Horror Nights fan. I would go if my daughters wanted to go, but I don't think it's something that I would want to go to on my own. I'm not gonna say I'm like a scaredy pants, but I don't think I like being scared that much. Like, I don't need somebody running up to me with the chainsaw. Like maybe once or twice, but not like 100 times in a night or something like that. It doesn't sound like my kind of night. But I think honestly, I would watch every video that comes my way of people going to Horror Nights and watching it in a different way. I think that is so cool. I wish that they found a way to use the wrestlers on Raw more. If I can remember back to when the Wyatt Six debuted, if you can remember back to even when Bray Wyatt returned and we saw, I don't want to say that was the Wyatt Six, but it kind of looked like that's what they were doing when he came back at the end. Like Matt Riddle walked through the back, and then all of a sudden everything went dark. And then like the Bray Wyatt thing rolled out, and we saw the bunny, and we saw the rabbit, and we saw this, that, and the other. I don't know who was the characters. I don't even know if that mattered at the time because it was just Bray returning. But I think that's way, way cool. And I'm watching all the videos I can on that. Who do you think are the pillars of TNA Impact Wrestling? That's a great question, because I can tell you this much. I wish I watched more TNA wrestling. Brian Myers is somebody that I'm honestly a fan of. Trick Williams, I think, is honestly really cool. Eddie Edwards will always be one of the best wrestlers there is out there in the world, but I can't tell you the last time I watched TNA wrestling. I think about it consistently a lot, but I can tell you that as of right now, I don't even know where to go to watch it other than like kind of watching it on an internet stream or something like that. That pops up along the way. The last time I know I watched Impact was the day the Good Brothers debuted in 2020 when they came back at Slammiversary. I remember I watched that match. I watched that show to see them return in their match, and I ended up watching the whole show. And I kind of like remember writing down like Austin's name. I remember writing down Chris Bay. There were guys in there that I thought like, damn, these guys are good, and I don't know who they are, but like maybe they got something going on here. LJ said he misses Kevin Owens. I think we all do. And I don't want to say like it's best that we like forget about him, but I think that honestly, like your mom will tell you like the boiling pot never boils. Like you just sit there and you watch it, waiting to like put the macaroni in to make your macaroni and cheese. It's better if you like walk away for a few minutes and then you come back and next thing you know it's going, because it just doesn't work that way. Like I think it's best that we just sort of like put KO on the back burner, walk away, and then all of a sudden when he returns one day, whether that's him doing kind of like the commentating sort of stuff, like if he's gonna turn to like what Samoa Joe is doing, or maybe like what Big E is doing, and then if he wrestles again, That's awesome. But I think it's best we just kind of like, I don't want to say forget about him, but I think it's best that we just kind of like push him back, watch what's going on, and just hope for the best. That's the best thing we can do. I can't believe WWE decided to redo SummerSlam 2014. Yeah, that was a real big surprise to me too. If I would have had money in my account to bet somewhere on the internet on wrestling, I would have bet it all that Cena was going to win this one. Um, I think that we're going to get Brock versus Cena at that Saturday night's main event, and I would bet all the money that I didn't bet on the last one. I'd bet on Cena to win. There's no way he's going out on a loss. Chances of Shane McMahon getting inducted into the yeah, hold on. I want to do this one as its own video. I got a lot to say. All right, we got a comment here from Not JPEG. It says chances of Shane McMahon getting inducted into next year's WWE Hall of Fame along with his sister. 0%. I don't know what happened, what is happening. I don't know what currently is happening inside of the McMahon family, but I will tell you, like the WrestleMania 16, the WrestleMania 2000 in Los Angeles, where we had a McMahon in every corner, and they were kind of billing Triple H, The Rock, Big Show, and Mick Foley as like the four-way of like if the McMahons could get in the ring and fight it out. I think if we had a ring somewhere, Vince, Linda, Stephanie, and Shane would all get in there. I think we all know that every corner of the McMahons is due respect to where the company is for different reasons. Vince wouldn't be there if he wasn't able to buy the companies from his father, and then he had a lot of ideas that kind of pushed the company to where it was. Linda, you can't forget that I think that she was behind the money that bought the company that Vince ran, and then also was the businesswoman that kept the business running with Vince's ideas. Shane, when he came into the business, he was like he learned like what to do. He was like the referee, then he became like the announcer, and that kind of led to him like being on screen, and that's kind of like what everybody remembers. But behind the scenes, he was getting jobs that he was knocking out of the park. I think that he was one of the big ones that kind of launched the website, and then like when the website was kind of at its peaks and like the early 2000s, I think that Shane was the one behind making those decisions. What was like what kids and people wanted to see on the internet from wrestling. It wasn't just like raw stats, it was stories and branching into other companies and doing things like that. But as far as like in a certain time period, Shane was the one telling Vince what was cool in the world. I mean, Shane was the guy that brought Floyd Mayweather to WrestleMania 24. He was the one that kind of went out on the edge and had weird ideas to like bring in the outside people, and was able to tell Vince like who was hip, who was down with it with world culture that was out there. Stephanie, of course, she took over, and I think she's one of the biggest reasons why Shane left, because Shane saw that he wasn't the one gaining the most power in WWF behind Stephanie being in charge of the writing committee and kind of like being involved with Vince more. That if anybody was going to take over WWE, it was going to be Stephanie. I think that's why Shane went out on his own and tried to make his own name in business. And then he came back 2016, and he worked his way back into the company, but he never gained any power. Like I kept on waiting to hear that he has some sort of a job, and like he just was an entertainer. Like I'm sure he did things backstage. Like we've all know the story about him getting fired after being a producer for the Royal Rumble, and then producing himself, having such a big spot in the Rumble. It seemed like he won the damn thing. But I think that like Shane, Stephanie, Linda, Vince, I don't know what goes on inside their houses away from WWE. I think that they can be You know, they can get along, they can do what a family needs to do, but I don't think there's a whole lot of four-man dinners. I don't think there's a whole lot of like them four getting together in a room. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that are going to be broken down in documentaries and books, interviews, years down the road. These are famous people, but I mean, like, they surround themselves with other people that like kind of dish out the dirt later in life. I think that mistakes were made inside of this family that they probably can't go back on. And there's probably a lot of backstabbing and stuff that we thought was wrestling angles that is real life. I think that Shane deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and that was my first thought when they told Stephanie she was going to be in there. I was like, how can you put Stephanie into the WWE Hall of Fame at the point where she's going to the Hall of Fame, but you're not going to put Vince in, and then you're not going to put Shane in? Like, I think those are two more important names to be going into that point. So I apologize. I got a text message, and I kind of saw the thing froze. So hopefully you guys got that. I think that John Cena's final opponent is going to be Brock Lesnar. Yeah. I almost tried to like my own stream because of that. Yeah, the likes need to be up. I appreciate that. Anything that helps get some people in here. Did you notice Adam Copeland paying tribute to Cena at All Out? Yeah, I thought that was really awesome. And, I think that, Edge saw Cena do it for him. So I think that he thought it was right to pay it back. And it's cool that he didn't get any knocks from AEW about that. Beth Phoenix made her debut. I don't know. I think that she's going to be somebody that's used when needed, but I don't think she's going to be an everyday performer for AEW. Jey Uso is the worst Royal Rumble winner. No, off the top of my head, I would say it might be Alberto Del Rio, who kind of never won the championship at WrestleMania 27. And then I can't really say that he hit like peaks. There was one time when WWE made him the World Heavyweight Champion and kind of the leader of SmackDown, but I don't think that really paid off. So Del Rio might be my guy. Yes, I am going to War Games in San Diego. I'll be going with freaking Yaya 88 Miguel. We got seats in the 200s. They weren't that expensive. And it's worth it to see my buddy Miguel. I haven't seen him since last year when we went to Ravi's wedding. And before that, I hadn't seen him since 2016. So I was kind of the odd man out that I wasn't able to go on trips because I had a point in my life when I didn't have the income to be going on trips to like, they went to 34 New Orleans. I would have done anything, but I would have killed myself in debt to go to that show. Probably said this before, but in your opinion, Bailey should join Uncle Howdy in the Wyatt Six. I'll tell you the truth. I don't think that's the way to go because the Wyatt Six have had a good tag team match. They've won the tag team championships, but like, I think that like Uncle Howdy, they said it on a podcast I was listening to. He's had like 3 matches in the time that he's been in WWE. So I don't know what kind of injury he has or what's going on, or if he's just a manager of that group that only wrestles every once in a while. But not sure. Would love to go to Mania if it was on somebody else's dime. It is expensive, man. And I think I would just love to go anywhere with my friends. Again, going to Ravi's wedding in Toronto last year was awesome. Probably said this before, but in my own opinion, Bailey should. He said that a second ago. I apologize. Ryback. Yeah, he lives in Vegas. We didn't see him. I thought he would come to WrestleCon, but he wasn't there. Makes sense because they're providing for a family. Yeah. Okay, we're talking about Ravi and Miguel. Fremont Street. Yeah, I didn't get to go to Fremont Street. Area 15, I have seen in videos, mostly Adam the Woo videos. That would be a good place to go to and like cool off. And it definitely is somewhere that like you put as much into it, you'll get more out of it. And like the more time that you're in there. And I think that like, as long as you don't have your phone or your watch or something like that, you could spend a lot of time in there. Naked Gun with Cody Rhodes and Dave Bautista I haven't seen yet, but as soon as it's on a streaming platform, I will make sure I check it out. Apple pie, chicken wings, fish and chips, or pork chop sandwiches. Is this my girlfriend asking what's for dinner? Because I thought we were having tri-tip tonight. I thought that was a whole big ordeal, and we had fish last night. So I guess that's not her. You really freaked me out there, not JPEG. I thought you were her from a work. Latest info on Chris Jericho. Latest info I got on Chris Jericho basically is that people think he's going to return at the Royal Rumble. If he was going to return at AEW, I think he would have came at All Out. I think he is waiting out the end of his contract, whenever the heck that is, and I think he's waiting for the right moment for WWE to say, like, hey, it's time to return to the family. I don't know how long his run is going to be in WWE. More than likely, he'll get the big moment. They'll give him as many matches as he needs or he can live up to, him going into the WWE Hall of Fame. How about this? If you get Jericho to return to WWE, you could have Jericho put Stephanie into the Hall of Fame, and that would be a very good, very entertaining speech. You wouldn't have like a Triple H moment of Triple H putting her in. You definitely wouldn't have a moment of Undertaker fumbling his way through putting her in. So that way, like, Triple H could kind of enjoy the moment with Stephanie. He got the moment of surprising her at the pay-per-view by telling her to go be out there, and then all of a sudden the segment was about her rather than her just being ringside for it. But I think it would be awesome. Chris Jericho and Stephanie were one of the biggest feuds that each other had. They also came together in their disdain for Triple H when Jericho fought in the main event of WrestleMania 18. Of course, that led to the divorce on screen of Stephanie and Triple H, which led to them fighting over a dog, which was one of the major storylines of WrestleMania 18. But, I mean, not only you get Jericho having a Rumble appearance, let's face it, Jericho's not winning the Rumble, but having a Rumble appearance. Then you'd also get him, having something to do at WrestleMania. Jericho versus AJ Styles one more time, I guess 10 years later. Maybe even the joke I read online was that, like, we're going to get Jericho versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania. I still think that would be a damn good match. As long as it's not one of, like, the big matches, like a main eventing a night. I would love to see that as an opener one night. But then you can also get you can get Jericho inducting Stephanie into the Hall of Fame. Missed opportunity by never bringing Britney Spears during the Cena versus Kate. I think they honestly did everything they could to get Britney there. Let's face it, that's why they did the Kevin Federline storyline. And I think about this often. I wish Cena versus Federline was on one of the DVDs, because that is a match that I often think about. I have watched it on YouTube. It's grainy. It's not the same. I would love to see it in DVD quality. If I would have known the date, I probably would have looked it up on the WWE Network. But Cena versus Kevin Federline was one hell of a feud. Kevin Federline didn't keep his name status, that he was a so-called celebrity, because he was like the bottom of the tier, because he was only there because he was a background dancer that married Britney Spears. He tried to have a rap album, but then it just failed. And the second that Federline and Spears got divorced, like, he would get some TMZ headlines every once in a while, especially when Britney was going through the whole free Britney thing, and they were trying to make her, free on her own. And then Federline was trying to keep the kids away from her because she was batshit crazy. I tweeted free Britney along the way, and I honestly regret it these days. But I wish we got to see more out of Federline versus Cena, because that was one hell of a feud that I think WWE buries because of the fact they let Cena lose to a nobody. Who would have been a better Raw guest host, Tom Green or Weird Al Yankovic? Probably Tom Green. I think Weird Al only would have been able to do what they told him to do, while Tom Green could have made a better situation out of nothing by making a joke that if Weird Al was in a segment that was bombing, he would just do whatever they told him to do to get to the end. Tom Green, if he was in a situation that I think he knew was bombing, I think he would do whatever he did he needed to do to you know, put it over and get out of it. Did you hear the news about former Raw GM Ricky Hatton passing away? He was the boxer, right? I didn't know a lot about him, but I did see the headline, but that's really all that I really saw. And then we're going to close it out right here with the possibility of Tony D'Angelo bringing back the full-blooded Italians. Are they going to be running Philadelphia? Are they doing the ECW arena? Is like NXT trying to take it over when the AEW the timeline of shows is that going to be over? Like they're going there to try and like make it a WWE place yet once again. I guess that's some way they could do it. That would be the only way that I would do it. Probably pretty good for him, honestly, to tell you the truth. So, all right. We did an hour and 15. Like I said earlier, if you're in here, if you've been in here, I appreciate all of you guys. Please tweet me so I know who you are. And we can start up a friendship over there on Twitter. I try to talk to everybody who talks to me. I try to retweet anything you ever need retweeted. If you make your own videos or anything like that, I'll try my best, whatever that's worth, to help you out. But peace out, everybody. I appreciate you. If you need a Wrestle Talk tomorrow, I am going to be doing a live stream like this with my buddy Jeremy. Write this down. Rock and Noel on YouTube. His name's Jeremy. He's a great guy. We've been doing this for a while. College football started, so we've been doing a little bit of hit and miss. That's why I've been doing the 2 weeks. I was doing one wrestling one NFL one, wrestling one today, and I'm glad because we talked a lot of freaking wrestling today. So, peace out, everybody. I'll see you guys down the road, and thank y'all very much. Peace out, guys.